CNN is facing backlash for an article that focuses on the psychological impact on Israeli soldiers who served in Gaza, whilst trivialising their violent actions that could be classified as war crimes.
Hello viewers, today I'm going to read through an article from CNN called "He Got Out of Gaza, but Gaza Did Not Get Out of Him. Israeli Soldiers Returning from War Struggle with Trauma and Suicide." Well, I think it's a good example of the freakish framing that Western media is willing to adopt in an attempt to humanize perpetrators of a genocide.
The article includes the following. In a testimony to the Knesset, Israel's parliament in June, Zakin said that on many occasions soldiers had to run over terrorists, dead and alive, in the hundreds. Everything squirts out, he added. And how can you put your children to bed when you know you saw children killed in Gaza? The article has faced backlash from thousands of social media users who argue that it tries to draw sympathy for Israeli soldiers who are admitting to atrocities. Critics point out that it fails to mention the serious accusations Israel faces in international courts, including genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes, and how their admissions potentially support the accusations Israel is facing. The soldiers at the centre of the story are Eliran Mizrahi and Guy Zakin. Eliran Mizrahi, a 40-year-old father of four, was called up to reserve duty shortly after October 7 and served for 186 days. He was injured in April 2024 and diagnosed with PTSD. Despite receiving weekly therapy, Mizrahi struggled with severe trauma, often describing seeing invisible blood to his family. On June 7, Mizrahi committed suicide after receiving orders to return to combat duty in Rafah. But it wasn't until a third of the article that readers learned Mizrahi was a D9 bulldozer driver clearing bodies and debris. The article also states that his colleague, Guy Zakin, told Israel's parliament in June that soldiers ran over terrorists dead and alive in the hundreds. Zakin maintains that the vast majority of those he encountered were terrorists. The article does not mention how he knew they were terrorists, makes no mention of who the vast majority are, and does not clarify who was being run over by the military vehicles. Zakin told CNN he was no longer able to eat meat due to seeing the Palestinian bodies crushed under the military vehicle. When you see a lot of meat outside and blood, both ours and theirs, then it really affects you when you eat, he said, referring to people's bodies as meat. Both Mizrahi and Zakin have shared videos of their time in Gaza and were interviewed on Israeli television.
געגועים. כמה בתים אתם הורסים? כתבתם איפשהו 1,500.
הגענו ל-5,000.
עדכני יותר, כן.
5,000? כן, מוגש. צמא 271, מוכח לפי הכל.
לא. כל הצוות,
כל הפלוגה שלנו.
אתם, שניכם,
אנחנו
הפסקנו לספור. 5,000 בתים.
According to Haaretz, 1,600 soldiers have suffered PTSD since October 7. Approximately 3,000 soldiers and reservists called the military's mental health hotline, and 90 soldiers have been discharged from service because of psychological issues.
לחמתי בכמה מלחמות, כמה מבצעים. את האישה הזאת כמעט הרגתי כמה פעמים בידיים שלי מתוך שינה. אני משתין בלילה, אני מפחד, אני לא ישן בחדר. אם אני לא שותה בקבוק הרג ביום, אני לא עולה לישון. מריח את הריח של הגופות. טוב. מי זאת רגע?
An article by The Guardian revealed that many Israeli soldiers struggle to cope with what they do during their service. One soldier said, "The psychiatrist in the army diagnosed me with PTSD, but it took the Ministry of Defense 8 years to approve it." They say, "So what if you shot someone? We trained you to do that."